Hey guys, it's Ryan with Boat Trader and welcome to Backyard Boaters, the show where we talk about DIY boat maintenance, repair, and upgrade projects you can do from your own garage or driveway. Today we're going to talk about the top 10 things to keep an eye out for when you're buying a used boat, right? So let's hop right into it and get to number one. Number one is obviously the overall condition of the boat. What do we mean by that? We mean, are you looking for a project boat or are you looking for a turnkey ready boat? And of course there's everything in between, but some people really are comfortable getting a project boat for the more mechanically inclined. So you might get obviously a better price on a boat that needs some work. Figure out really what your comfort level is there. If you want a turnkey boat, then follow along, especially on this, because the next 9 items that we go through, you're gonna wanna make sure everything is checked off. We just had a little talk with our offset consultant. Number 2 on our list is after you kind of decide whether or not you want a project boat or a turnkey boat or what level of boat, then obviously you want to check out your engine, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm here with Shawn. We're here to talk about, also hand in hand with the engine is the transom, that it can support the engine.
Yeah, and that's one of the first things that kind of will go on an older boat. Yeah. So one of the first things you want to do is you come up to the boat and you want to really wrench on the motor, like get your foot on it, just get some pressure on that transom. If this flexes and bows at all, you're probably going to have to replace the transom. Look at the gel coat that's around on the edges of the transom. If it's all cracked and you can see if the water came into it, like you might be in trouble.
Yeah, might be a good time to walk away at that point.
Yeah.
When we get to the engine,
let's see if it turns over. Right. There's usually 2 types of boaters. One, guy loves the boat, wants to get a bigger boat. Guy hates the boat, wants to get rid of it, and hasn't run it in a long time. So it could have old gas in it. Right. Could have been not running ethanol-free gas in it, so the cobs are all jammed up. Yep. So yeah, first thing you want to do is try and turn it over. Yep. If it starts, man. If it doesn't start, then there's a few things that we could take a look at right off the bat that are easy fixes, but also at the same time, when you're trying to buy a boat and it doesn't have a working motor, here you go, bump down that price. Now that's the difference between turnkey and do you want a project boat? Right.
We want to bring a battery along when you're going to look at a used boat. Sometimes sellers will try to hide the fact, the battery's dead, but it does run. Like you bring the battery, pop on the battery cables, and then you go to turn it over and make sure it starts, right? Yep. You need to make sure you put the motor in water in either a bucket or muffs, right? Mm-hmm. So it should be spitting out water if it's running. That's another thing. Otherwise, there's something wrong with the cooling system.
Usually the impeller, that's 9 out of 10 times that's not a bad, job to replace the impeller for sure.
And then on the spark plugs, if you pull them out and you notice one is really burnt and the others aren't, something wrong with that cylinder.
Oily, if they're super oily, that they could be fouled, so it's running rich. If some of them are burnt out and they're all rusty, you might have bigger problems.
And good to bring a compression tester tool, like we have one here, so we'll run through it, but to plug into each cylinder, you pull out the spark plug, put that in, turn it over and check, you'll get the compression reading. They're supposed to all be within 10 or 20 of each other?
They should be really close to one another. So they should be around 100, hopefully, and they should all match. Like if you get one that's like way off another one, it's probably smoked. Yeah.
All right, so we're just like a little over 80.
For this particular motor, the 90 PSI was the manufacturing PSI when it came off the factory floor. Yeah. It's old as hell, so of course you lost a bunch of compression. Yeah. But you're looking for all your pistons to be somewhere in the same vicinity of one another.
And I mean, they should be, when we say close, within 10 is probably good, right? Yeah. Within 10. All right, number 3 on our list is the hull. Obviously, you want to check the structural integrity of the hull.
You get like Neil Peart from Rush and just ding, 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 ding. And you start hearing some really weird spots on there. There might be some rot in your hull there. And that's, again, Not the end of the world, but not turnkey.
Yeah.
You know, especially any place that where you're gonna like tie the boat off.
Yeah.
You know, you'll get a lot of those stress fractures.
Right around the cleats and everything.
Yeah,
right?
and they're normal, but like to a point where it's like, if they're deep and you know that water is getting in there, that might be an area of concern. And I'd certainly, you know, address it sooner than later.
And anywhere where you see like raw fiberglass showing through.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, you're in trouble.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Number 4 on our list after the hull is the deck, right? So you want to check the condition of the deck.
Mm-hmm.
What are we looking for here, Shawn?
So you kind of want to walk around on the deck, and you know, this deck sucks.
Yeah.
You know what a lasagna noodle looks like? It's like that.
Yeah. Shawn, can you stand on that? Like show
Yeah.
how. See, that's
that's
a bad deck, right?
That's not good. That's a soft spot right there.
Yeah.
So, you know, you kind of want to walk around and feel around for soft spots. If your foot starts sinking down into little areas, then you know the deck is rotted. Again, it's like the transom. You're cutting fiberglass. You're replacing the wood that's in there.
And like you want to check the hardware on the deck too. Like I know, so a lot of people just screw into the deck.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So when you screw into the deck and you don't put any sealant in there, like water will just get in there pretty quick, man.
Yeah.
It'll just rot it all out. You know, you can kind of look around the edges of any of the connections, and maybe you'll see a little. I'd love to see a little sealant like squirting through.
Yeah.
But if not, it's not the end of the world. It may not. You know, it may have a really tight seal.
Yeah.
It may just be around the screws.
For the rest of the 10 mistakes to avoid when buying a used boat, check out our next episode on youtube.com/BoatTrader and subscribe to follow the series. This is Backyard Boaters by Boat Trader. Buy any boat, as long as you know what you're getting into.